Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to California Reloaded. I am about to go ahead and get my 10 rounds of the Hornady CX fired off. Real quick, I like to print out these spec sheets from the manufacturer's website. So here's the one from Hornady, and don't worry about all the stuff that I wrote on it from back in the day. We'll just kind of look at this together. So this is the 130 grain CX. 4350, their suggested starting was 3722, and then they go all the way up to 42 grains, which will give them about that 2850 feet per second range. Obviously, this is a heavier bullet. Let's see. My first load development for my ladder test, at the end of my ladder test, I was at 38 grains. So I really only stepped it up a little bit from their suggested starting of 37.2. So that kind of gave me, at the end, that gave me 2,401 foot per second, roughly. So I'm feeling saucy today. I'm very comfortable with how I load and think, my method of madness. I was going to go straight for 40. I think now I'm going to go straight for 41 grains. 42 is my max. So I'd like to at least try and get it to that 2,750 to 2,800 sweet spot. Again, I'm not looking for the most amount of horsepower out of my rifle. I just want to get it to about where the average is and see what groups the best. I don't have to get something like, oh man, I need 3,000 feet per second. Like I have to. No, I don't have to. This is the load for today. So you can see today's August the 3rd. I'm going to load 10 rounds. Hornady CX 130 grain. I'm going to use 41 grains at 4350. This is what's going to be my ogive, and then my overall case length, if I'm not mistaken, is going to vary by about 3 thousandths. That's why I wrote it like this. I think when I originally loaded these 3 bullets, I think the Hornady was the most inconsistent as far as length. So I should have a little bit of a buffer with that. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get these bad boys primed. I'm going to get the powder measure warmed up, and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am getting everything dialed in, just comparing my powder charge to the 505 scale, as per usual. This is the 3rd one. It's right on the money. I gotta say, I am pleasantly surprised with this Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper. I think a lot of people give the IntelliDropper a bad name for whatever reason. And, dude, this thing's amazing. I'm gaining a lot more confidence in it as far as like the automatic feature. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing, and I'm not even going to check these ones on the 505. I'm just going to go for it. I'll check like the 7th or 8th one just to make sure we're still right on, which there's no doubt in my mind that we're not. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bust that off. Thing's beautiful. So yeah, that's what this load's going with, guys. We're going with 41 grains of the 4350. 42 would be my max. Actually, you know what? Is it 42 even? Yes, it's 42 even. So their suggested starting was 37.2. I started at 37, and I did a ladder test to 38 originally. So I decided from 38, I was gaining 2,400 FPS, so it was still extremely slow. So I figure, hey man, I'm just going to step it up and go to 41, and then kind of like, I can't remember if it was the Barnes or the Nosler where I had that 0.9 to play with afterwards. This will give me a full grain to play with, depending. But in my original testing, out of the 3 bullets, the Hornady was actually the worst grouping one. Maybe it was because of my powder charge, so I don't know. I'm hoping that this thing's going to shoot lights out. I really do. So this is the 7th charge. I'm going to go ahead and weigh the 8th charge just to see if we're still on. No doubt in my mind that we're not. This IntelliDropper is amazing. I love it. It works so damn well 505 scale was re-leveled and readjusted, by the way, so for the sake of this video, I feel like I need to mention that. I like how it takes its time. Like, even though it hits 41, it takes its time. It makes sure that no granulars are going to fall down that are going to mess with the weight, and then it'll finally beep at you and say stable. You know, I think this thing is actually, I'm just going to say it, I think it's pretty underrated. I think you get a lot of guys getting like those RCBS ones or the Hornady ones, and they'll spend so much money. These things are like $600-700 now. Shit, dude. This fucking thing I got for $175. It's about $200 right now on Amazon. Shit, well worth the money. I'm loading so fast. I usually use a plastic spoon, and I'll usually sit there and I'll sprinkle granulars from right out of the freaking tub straight into the 505, and then I'll trickle the rest, and it takes forever. This Frankfurt Arsenal, man, this thing's killing it. Coffee. So what's going on with this one? Did it beep? I didn't even hear it beep. Okay. So this is load 9. Right? Oh yeah, it's because I got 8 in the scale. Yeah. 8's right on the money. So yeah. This thing is really really accurate. And we'll just weigh the 10th one just for shits and gigs. But yeah, Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper, I can't say enough about it. If you guys don't have a powder measure, don't go out and spend more than you need to. This thing is actually very accurate. Just make sure you're comparing it to a beam scale. If you don't have a beam scale, make sure that you have a digital scale or some other way of verifying that that charge is correct. And you see how fast it spit this one out? I mean, this thing's like super warmed up. It's like super on point right now. And just for the sake of not making this too long, I'm going to slow this down, this rocking. Oops, it's going for an 11th charge, but that's okay. And we're right on the money. Charge number 10. So, yeah. I got 10 pretty ladies fully primed and fully charged and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get the die set up. I'm going to go ahead and set back the micrometer because this overall length is very similar to what I did yesterday for the nozzler. And I'll be back. All right, guys. All right, everybody, welcome back. Hang on, let me just adjust this a tad. There we go. I got the die set up. This is our finished product. This is a tad bit shorter than Hornady's overall length on their spec here. Their overall length was 2.810. I'm 2.778. Again, this is spec'd out for my rifle. So you can see with my 2.778, I'm barely loaded in here for the magazine. I mean, it's hard to tell on that angle, but that 2.80, I think that, I don't think that would have fit. Actually, you know what? Duh. Why don't I do this? I'm going to zero this thing back out. I got the comparator taken off. I'm going to zero this thing back out. I'm going to see what my mag is. Oh, hang on. This thing's getting like caught up in there. 2.854, 58. So I guess the Hornady spec'd out one would work, but again, I'm loading this to my rifle, so don't duplicate what I'm doing. But just one more time, I know the camera doesn't really do it justice. Maybe I'm just holding it at like the worst angle, but it's tight. I mean, it's very tight in there, but it does push down. It doesn't hit. So good looking round. I think the Hornady definitely looks very good. Now, this is a compressed load, and I'm not used to compressed loads, so this must be something that I need to get used to for smaller cartridges like a 6.5 Creedmoor. I typically load 270, so I am used to having a ton of airspace left over. That is not the case. So with my loading, I'm going to proceed with caution because you can hear the powder crunching. I'm going to proceed with caution because I am not used to compressed loads. Not saying I've never done them in the past. I have, but I just, it's not something that I do every day. 2.148. I think I'm looking for 2.146. So I'm not even going to make an adjustment. I'm just going to send this in one more time. Maybe I'll make an adjustment right now. Let's see what the comparator shows on the button. So 2 of them loaded. I'll do a third one here on camera, and then I will do the rest off camera. And then I will talk about here, let's see if you can hear the powder. Oh yeah. Definitely not the biggest fan of compressed loads, but what sucks too is the paper didn't even make mention of a compressed load. Like I feel like Nosler was very forthcoming with their information. There's nothing on here that says compressed load on any of them. So I think Hornady could have done that a little better, just for, I don't know, safety's sake, but it's okay. I'm not overly concerned. That one was good, by the way. So yeah, guys, I'm going to finish loading these up, and I'll be back. All right, everybody, I'm back. That was extremely fast. I want to say, even though I've been filming, dude, I came in here, did a couple little clips, got the powder ready, got the press ready, pressed these 10 rounds. I've literally only been in here for like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I mean, I'm getting quicker at filming all this kind of stuff, but moreover, I'm getting faster at the reloading because I got to give the props to the Frankfurt Arsenal. You're probably going to hear this in all of my videos from now on. That thing is the shit. So here we go. We are done with the load development for all 3. Here's the Hornady. Oh man, I gotta say, these things look so good. Those things look really good. Look at those guys. Wow. Here, let's get a side-by-side. Let's get a side-by-side. You guys go ahead and vote. You guys tell me in the comments which one you think is going to be the king. Obviously, it's a little bit of a subjective question, but yeah, those things are beautiful. Here, I'm going to, here, you know what I'll do? Try to do this so that way you guys can actually see those. Sorry guys, I am not used to filming YouTube videos, and I just got this DJI action camera that I'm doing my videos on. So here we go. On the left we got the Barnes LRX, the center is the Nosler expansion tip 120, and then we got the Hornady 130 grain CX. A little bit of a toss-up. I mean, the LRX was the better performer when I did my ladder test. I'll give it that. That is with those ugly-ass tips that, you know, Barnes had zero quality control on. So, I don't know. I don't know what my pick is yet. I gotta say, God, they all look so good. If I had to pick one strictly off of looks, probably be that Nosler, man. That Nosler is just such a good-looking bullet. I like how their tip transitions. It's I don't know. It's just a good-looking bullet. I don't know. But now that I got more horsepower out of the Hornady, I mean, I know it's a compressed load. I'm not a fan, but you know, my 39 grains that I ended at on the ladder test, that was barely above the minimum charge, and I was only getting 2,400 feet per second. So bump it up 2 grains, that should get me closer to that 2750 standard, get me closer to that sweet spot. So who knows? I think right now, if it was a contest on looks, I would pick the Nosler. If it was a contest on speed, I would probably give it to... I'd probably give it to the Hornady, just because I'm expecting that 130 grain to come out and barrel a lot faster than the other two. That could change, though. I don't know. I'm not making a scientific statement when I say that. That's just my opinion. And then if I was just going to base the best off of my ladder test from last year, I would give it to the LRX, because this was by far the more accurate round at the range that time. So the Barnes, let's just recap everything so that way you guys can see the differences here. So the Barnes is on the left, right? The blue tip. So I loaded 10 rounds yesterday with 39.5 grains of the 4350. My overall case length came out to 2.750. And just for comparison, on my ladder test, my third group, which had, bear with me, guys. My third group had 39 grains. I'm only bumping it up a half a grain, but out of that 39 grains, I was at 2507. So I probably could have went with a little bit more powder, but they stop at 40.4 on Barnes load data. So I'm nearing the end of getting close. Let's see, with that 40.4, that put them at 2738. So it seems like with this bullet, I'm not really hitting that 2750, and that's okay. Again, I'm not a speed freak. Let's go to the Nosler E-Tip 120. This guy right here in the middle, this beautiful bullet. When I did my ladder, I stopped at 39 grains. I'm able to go all the way up to 45. So I can seriously get some horsepower in this round. They don't mention compressed loads though, but I am seating deeper than their testing at Nosler. So they do go to 45 max, which will go up to 3018 based on their data. I went to 41 grains. So here's my load data for the Nosler for yesterday. 4350, I did 41 grains, and my overall length is 2.716. On my ladder, when it was 39, my last group, I was getting 26 hundo. So I think with this 41 grains, it might put me right there in that sweet spot. We'll see how it groups. And then lastly, we got the Hornady CX 130 grain. This is another just phenomenally good looking round. I mean, look at that. That thing looks really nice. And again, I should not be handling these without gloves. I'm very anal like that. Let's check the spec on the Hornady one last time. And again, I don't like the load data on the Hornady bullet because it doesn't show throughout their testing like what loads were compressed. They're not giving you a whole lot of data here, but on the top of my ladder, we were at 38 grains. I went ahead and I went straight to 41 on this one. and their max is 42. Obviously, I'm compressed a little bit more, so out of that 41, I'm probably at the end of that spectrum. But that 41 on their testing gets you right to 2,800 feet per second. So I'm expecting to be within that 2,800 to 2,850. I am going to proceed with caution, though. You know, because, again, I'm not used to compressed loads. So I will be extremely cautious, extremely careful, you know, have my eye protection, my ear protection. It's just, you know, it's one of those things, guys. I mean, you gotta be as safe as you can with your reloading, right? I mean, you gotta be safe with your reloading and your testing. So basically, when I go to the range, for each different bullet, I will be shooting 3 different groups of 3. And then you might be wondering, well, why did you load 10? Well, couple reasons. One, out of 3 groups of 3, I may have a group that maybe I fudged up the shot. Maybe I had a flyer. I can just go ahead and send one more round down. And for some reason, if I botch 1 or 2 of the other groups, I at least have a solid group. So it just prevents me from having to load 15 rounds to do this. I'm trying to only do it with 10. Because my goal is do these 3 rounds of 3 essentially, right? Find the best grouping 1, see if I need to experiment with the powder from there. I don't think I'm going to need to on either of these. I think as long as I hit around that 2,750 to 2,800 on each of these, I think I'm good. I just want to see which one groups the best, which one I feel is going to be the most phenomenal. Right now, I'm kind of putting my money on the Hornady. I gave that thing a lot more horsepower than what it had the last year. This one, obviously, the Barnes, it obviously did group the best. The nozzle just looks the best. I mean, you guys probably can't tell on camera, but man, that thing is sweet looking. But yeah, time will tell. I'm going to test this out. Oh, you know what? I got to get my desiccant packet. By the way, guys, pro tip, throw some desiccant packets inside of your boxes. It's going to help that polish last longer on the brass. Just gives it an overall better product. You know, you're going to go through all the pain and misery and research and money spent and time spent at your reloading bench. You might as well just, you know, take care of your product. So there you go, guys. There you have it. No need for me to write any ballistic information on the box. I know what those are. I will have my Batman notebook with me, which has all my load data in it. So, all right, guys. I guess the last part or last 2 parts of this series, I don't know. It's going to happen at the range. So, depending on what type of day I have at the range, I may decide to, like I said, up my powder on some of these or just call it good for my testing at the range. And then from there, all I literally need to do is I got to figure out for the CDS reticle on the loophole scope. It's a VX3 HD. I don't know if I need to shoot it at 200, 300, 400 yards. I don't know. I got to figure that out. But then I can get my CDS reticle sent in a loophole. So that'll pretty much be the end of the series. We'll be back for range day. All right, everybody. Have a good one.